Hello and welcome to Deadline Horror News Live for the week of October 20th, 2021. I'm Josh, and as always, I'm joined here with Donnie
Hey,
and the Professor Smoke.
How you doing?
Will couldn't be with us, but we are from the All-American Spookshow Horror Podcast. As always, of course, we want to remind you to like and subscribe down at the bottom there to the channel here on YouTube, and click on the bell to be notified when we upload new videos and when we go live and all that, so you'll make sure you don't miss a thing. We want you to become a supporter of the Spook Show by going over to patreon.com/AA Spook Show. There you can sign up to become a patron, and we've got levels starting at $1, $3, all the way up to the crazy $1,000 Spook Show Insanity level that no one will ever get. But hey, you never know. The main attraction over there, though, is the popular segment, The Library of the Professor, where Professor Smoke takes a curated selection from his personal collection, his vast library, and talks about it and gives his ratings and everything. So, as you see on the screen there, of course, every Monday we have a new podcast that comes out 6 p.m. East. Of course, we have our special. The lone exception to that will be our 3rd anniversary Halloween Spectacular. That actually comes out on Halloween, October 31st, on Halloween Day at noon. That will be our one chance that we have every year to re-rank, or not re-rank, but put a new star rating on the movies that we've watched over the last year. So that's the lone exception. Otherwise, new podcasts every Monday at 6 p.m. East. Of course, we're doing Deadline Horror News live at least throughout the month of October, but usually that's up on Thursdays. And you saw there where you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that, TikTok. We're on all the socials there. So I want to remind you that episode 78 of the podcast just came out this past Monday. And that is our Spook Show Roundtable, or Spook Show Roundtable, Slasher Roundtable, where we talked about some of our favorite slasher movies. We kind of not necessarily disqualified, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers movies, but we just kind of put those these are up here. Now let's talk about the rest. So that's out now, wherever you get your podcast. And next Monday at 6 p.m. East is episode 79. And that's our next movie review episode. And it's the latest Michael Myers flick, speak of the devil, Halloween Kills, which just came out last Friday, October 15th, in theaters. It's streaming on Peacock, if you can't make it out to a theater. So there's really no excuse not to, have checked this out yet. But you definitely need to make sure you check it out before next Monday when episode 79 drops. So you'll get to hear our thoughts on that movie. So we've all already watched that, and we're locked and loaded and ready to go there. So come back Monday at 6 p.m. East for that. And of course, hopefully that episode, if you are a patron at the $5 level, you'll get it early. You'll be listening to it before Monday at 6 p.m. East. Can't promise exactly when, but you'll get it hopefully before Monday at 6 p.m. East. So Donnie, I guess I'll toss to you. What are the latest deadlines and horror news? What you got?
oh man, well, let's just kind of kick it off here with the, I guess the usual, the usual headlines. Yeah. So now Doctor Who is not really something I'm not really, I don't really follow a lot, but a lot of our fans do. So Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker is returning in the 13th installment of legendary sci-fi series. This series is actually called Doctor Who Flux. Always got the flux. No, it's a Halloween special. But yeah, it's gonna kick off that new series. There's gonna be 6 episodes. So yeah, I mean, Doctor Who, is that something either of you, kind of follow?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a rabid fan of it, but pretty much ever since the new version, because it actually went away, I think in 1989, and then they brought it back in 05 or so, some early 2000s. They brought it back, and that was Christopher Eccleston was the Doctor for one season. But yeah, I've followed it, every episode ever since then. So yeah, I'm a fan of it.
Smoke?
Yep, I followed it. Well, I came up with it, I guess you could say, like on watching it on like late night PBS sometimes back in the 80s, I guess. And Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor. That was how I got introduced to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And well, at that time I didn't know the whole format. That was just this thing on PBS, and I watched it. I'm like, this is cool. And then all of a sudden there was like some other guy. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Playing the Doctor. I didn't know what that's an ingenious format though of like being able to change into another body of another Doctor. What made it live so long, I think, or has made it live so long.
I don't know if that was their original intent, but boy, it was a stroke of genius. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah.
As far as being able to keep it alive and not having to say, for instance, like Star Trek, where it was just William Shatner, and like it wouldn't be right if it wasn't him doing it. You know what I mean? So like now you come up with this concept of where like every few years the Doctor regenerates, and hey, it's a new person. You don't have to pay as much for the next guy, or or you can freshen it up with a new person. So it's pretty cool though. It's something, Donnie, I would recommend if you got some time to catch up on. Not like the 50-year history going back to the 60s, but like at least like the newer series in the 2000s. Man, it's pretty well done.
I get the the general concept of it. It's just not anything that I've just kind of sat down and watched.
If you're a fan of sci-fi on any level, I think you'd like it.
And once you do, you'll get hooked into it. I mean, you start that Christopher Eccleston season, and it'll just draw you in. First few episodes are all right, then it picks up. Then by the time you get to the next Doctor and the next Doctor after that, you're pretty much binge watching the whole thing.
I did want to also, we were talking about the title of it, Doctor Who Flux. There was somebody else who also, Cash 5000 mentioned, the Flux. So, that's pretty good. Yeah. So, but yeah. So
I noticed that, but when you had that up though, it was a Halloween special. I guess that's why we're talking about it, right?
Yeah. It was a Halloween special. It's 6 episodes. It releases on Halloween. Yep. Yeah, but yep.
Yeah. I'm just
So all right. Yep. And then Lamb, which actually released in theaters earlier this month, is coming to basically A24 is doing a virtual screening. I believe that's next week, next Tuesday, the 26th. Well, it's right there. But you can go to screeningroom.a24films.com to purchase a screening ticket. They are $20. But it appears like this is the only screening time. The way that A24's website kind of made it seem like there were more screening times. There's not for this particular film. So $20. It's not really anything I would watch anyway. I accidentally read the ending of it, but I wouldn't have paid money for it anyway. But that's me. Guys, what do you think?
Well, Smoke, we've talked, like you went and saw it, right?
Yeah. My wife and I went to see it in the theater here recently. So it is. Okay. First of all, you mentioned it's an A24 film. Half of the adventure, fun, whatever you want to call it, of going to see an A24 film is watching other theater patrons' reaction to said A24 film. That's half the fun of it. But no, I really enjoy this. I like A24 in general as a distribution company. I think they pick out some good titles. A lot of we know The Witch, Midsommar. They got a lot of great titles under their belt. So this one, I think it's a great movie, but it is definitely not going to be for everybody. It's an Icelandic film. It's in Icelandic with English subtitles. That's two things that could turn off some people there just seeing it in general, besides the fact of it being sort of an out there, art house type A24 film. It's shot in Iceland. It's got some beautiful landscape photography, and the photography itself looks great. The sound design is amazing. That right there was worth seeing it in the theater, I think, was for the sound design of it. And just this really great movie. I think it'll probably be up there in maybe in my top movies of 2021, just because it's not the usual, and you have to be kind of an A24 film fan, I guess, to like it to begin with. So, but yeah, it was directed by Valdemar Johansson, which is not really that well known outside of probably as a special effects artist in Hollywood. And this is his first directorial debut as far as a feature film. So I'll be interested to see what he does after this. But again, if you're at all familiar with A24 films and you like said A24 films, then it's probably definitely a winner and you'll probably like it. If on the other hand, you walk out you've seen an A24 film and you're one of the people like in the theater that's like the lights come up and the credits roll and like, what the hell is this crap? Then yeah, you probably won't like it.
Well, we've got coming up, at least on our calendar of episodes we're going to be doing, December 27th. So right after Christmas, we're going to be doing our 2021 year in review episode. If all stays on schedule. So I'm sure that movie will come back up by the time we get to the end of December.
Yeah.
Anything else there, Donnie?
Yeah, just a couple more things. So Walmart. Walmart has it's basically a Stranger Things retro cassette player. So they have this on pre-order for $64.88. It's got an expected release date of November 19th. So basically what this is, it's a Stranger Things, obviously what you see here, but it's got a tape deck, tape recording, AM, FM radio, Bluetooth functionality. But yeah, you can either pick this up at any Goodwill for about $3, or you can order it from Walmart, the specific one.
I guess the only feature there that you probably wouldn't find at Goodwill would be the Bluetooth, right?
Yeah, that would be it.
Otherwise, all the same shit.
Yeah. So, but no, and another little nugget of info: Robert Englund is going to join the cast of season 4 as a new character. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, that I knew that was another one that kind of got put off by the pandemic. Before, so I think, what are they saying, by the end of this year, maybe early next year, when season 4 will finally come out. So
yeah, I think
early next year, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know if that's been. I mean, it may well have been. It may well have been announced, but I don't remember anything.
Kind of teaser trailer or something that came out in the last month or so. I want to say it's either late this year or early next year, but either way, yeah, that's one that's been put off for a while because of the pandemic. So hopefully we'll get to see that sooner or later. Any more? Or was that it for the old?
We do have one more headline, which actually alluded to our episode 79 coming up. So over 1.2 million households in the U.S. Streamed Halloween Kills on Peacock. That's pretty sizable, pretty significant. And basically how that ranks versus other streaming horror movies. A Quiet Place 2 was streamed 520,000. Malignant was 750,000. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It was 1.6 million. So it's a little bit more than what Halloween Kills got. And then there was, if you call, I guess this is more sci-fi or whatever, Godzilla versus Kong, 3.6 million. But if you also think that was like right around the time when, pandemic was still, in full swing, the same kind of thing with Mortal Kombat. You wouldn't really call that a horror movie, but it's still an interesting little, nugget of information.
Yeah, I'd say if anything, it just proves that more people are going to the theaters again, than it does say anything good or bad about Peacock.
Yeah.
I did not get a chance because I actually went on a beach trip this past weekend, so I actually watched it on Peacock. I didn't get a chance to go to the theater and see it, so. But I would like to go see it in the theater, before it goes away. But we'll get into the numbers on what it made in the box office in just a second. But when we were talking about that little bit before air, I looked it up, and the average movie ticket price, I guess, in the U.S. right now is $9.16. So if you do the math, if you just said 1.2 million individuals, if they had went and bought a movie ticket instead of streaming it on Peacock, that's almost $11 million. You know, if that was just one person. Now I'm sure people streaming it at their house were watching it with a group of people. So
yeah, that's at the bottom end.
Yeah. So I mean, and I'm sure they made a good portion of that money back on Peacock subscriptions, but still, that can be a pretty huge number when you're talking about the success of these movies. You know, how much they may or may not be losing or gaining by doing it that way. So it's an interesting thing that I'm sure all the bean counters in Hollywood are paying attention to.
Yeah.
Smarter folks than us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. The only other thing that, we've talked kind of offline about, doing just like a quick QA session or something like that. This was, we were just talking about doing episode 79, Halloween Kills, but Pennsylvania Larry had a good question. Says, do we have any guests lined up, in the future for, our podcast?
We're always an open door. I would imagine probably sooner or later we'll have Travis Roy back on from the Cinema Night guys, because he was a good guest, and I think we could probably do some stuff with him. If I had to guess, he'd probably be the next up. But hey, you never know. I mean, like we had Michael Felsher on Red Shirt Pictures, and that one kind of happened it happened real quick. Like within a few hours, like, hey, you want to do this? Let's do it. All right, boom. So you never know what might happen. You never know.
Yeah, if you want to check that out with Michael Felsher, that was the Maximum Overdrive episode.
Yeah, we had about a 15-20 minute long interview at the top of the episode. So yeah, it was good stuff. If you want to go back and check that out. Yep. Fan experiences and conventions and events going on now. Of course, since we're in the heart of spooky season, right? We're literally what Halloween is, not this Sunday, but the next. So we're only about a week and a half away from Halloween. So as expected, there's a lot of conventions and events and whatnot going on. First up, we have Fan Expo Canada Limited Edition 2021. I don't know what the hell the limited edition part is, but guests there include, as you see there on the screen, we've got William Shatner, Robert Patrick, Christopher Eccleston, who we were just talking about with Doctor Who. So you right there, I mean, I know it's mostly sci-fi, right? Because you got Doctor Who and Star Trek on the screen there, but you got Robert Patrick, who was in Terminator 2 and a number of other things. So yeah, and there's a bunch of other guests, but those are just some of the bigger names that you would probably recognize. That's up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this weekend, October 22nd to the 24th. So that's Friday through Sunday. And you can go to fanexpohq.com/fanexpocanada for tickets and information and all the goings-ons there. And all these events that we're going to talk about, I'm sure they all have their own COVID rules and stuff like that too. So you should definitely go to their website and check out, what you may or may not have to do to go to these conventions. The next one we got up is Santa Fe Comic-Con 2021. That's, of course, in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Guests here include Anthony Michael Hall, Deborah Foreman, who I believe was Smoke. Was she not in April Fool's Day? Was that her?
She was.
Yeah, she was. Yep.
Yeah. I thought we had mentioned her before, but there's a number. Now, I didn't make note of it, but when I quickly glanced at their website earlier, which is SantaFeComicCon.com, I noticed I think a few of the faces you see here on the screen have actually canceled since this little graphic, I guess, was put together. So, as always, go to the website for the latest information there, SantaFeComicCon.com. That is also Friday through Sunday, October 22nd to the 24th. So if you're out west in the Santa Fe, New Mexico area, there's something to do this weekend. The next one up, Scarefest 2021, which is in Lexington, Kentucky. So that's closer to the East Coast there. That's also this Friday through Sunday, the 22nd to the 24th. Guests there include, now this is a much bigger bill. I just put together a handful of the names that popped, but there's a ton more to see here. Go to thescarefest.com for more names and ticket information and all that. But guests here include Bruce Campbell, Ted Raimi, Bill Moseley, Linnea Quigley, Michael Berryman, Felissa Rose, Kane Hodder, tons of others at this one. This is definitely one of the bigger ones going on this weekend. As you can see there on the screen, it's the Central Bank Center in Lexington, Kentucky. So
that's a solid old school lineup.
Yeah, no,
man.
And there's tons, like I said, there's tons of other ones too that I didn't have, just listing all these names off. But tons of good guests. This one for sure. The next one that we have is Spooky Empire 2021. That's in Orlando, Florida. So another East Coast con. That one also is going from Friday to Sunday, the 22nd to the 24th. You can go to spookyempire.com for ticket information and all that, guest list and all that. But guests here include, the biggest one is Robert Englund, Freddie himself. He'll be there. But also David Howard Thornton, who played Art the Clown, Lance Henriksen. There's a number of other names. Isn't quite as big, of a guest list as Scarefest had, but it's still a pretty impressive list too. So spookyempire.com for that one. The next one is a little less traditional. It's called Dark History and Horror Convention 2021, and it's in Champaign, Illinois, which I'm assuming that's like in the Chicago area, right? I don't.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That one is, as you see there, October 22nd and 23rd. So that's actually this Friday and Saturday only. I didn't see they have guests and stuff, but it's mostly authors and like historical type stuff. So like, it actually sounds pretty cool. Like, I guess they're talking about like dark history would be like you see on the screen there, like Charles Manson.
Wow, they got it. They managed to swing Charles Manson somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They got Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, Jason. They've got them all.
Lucky Luciano.
Yeah. But yeah, this one looks pretty interesting beyond like the guest list, the historical aspect of it, and just these panels and stuff like that they're going to have. Looks pretty cool. So I figured that was worth mentioning. If you want your less conventional type of convention, there's that. Their website, like to me when I looked at it, it's called dhhcon.wordpress.com. It's pretty bare bones, and it honestly didn't look like it had been updated, but they do have Facebook and Instagram and all that. So like that had the more up-to-date information. So I'm sure if you go on Facebook and Instagram and all that and look up Dark History Horror Convention, you'll find what you're looking for there. And the last one that I had pulled up was Brooklyn Horror Con 2021 in Brooklyn, New York. That one is 23rd and 24th. So that's actually Saturday and Sunday for this one. Guests here include Scout Taylor Compton and Paul T. Taylor. He was one of the other guys that played Pinhead, right? Smoke.
Yeah.
Because it was always that guy until him, right?
Yep. Until I forget what the last Hellraiser movie was.
Yeah, good. I don't recall, but that
went
was
to space.
Pinhead Goes to Space. I think it was Pinhead Scared Stupid. I think was the title of that one. But I like that the little graphic has like, hey, look, there's Art the Clown and Pinhead and Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, even though like most of the people involved in those movies will not be in attendance. But you're putting up the I guess the Mount Rushmore, so to speak, there to kind of pull people in. But still, nonetheless, gives you something to do if you're in Brooklyn this weekend. So we move on to the box office report. This is for the weekend of October 15th to the 17th. So this past weekend. There you see it on the screen there. We'll go from 10 to 1. We got number 10 in its first week, Most Eligible Bachelor. It made $470,000. So Donnie, that must be you.
Yeah.
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 Number 9. There you go. Smoke Lamb. It actually fell a spot. It was number 8 last week, but it made a little over $500,000. So that's not bad for a small indie type flick. It's made a little over $2 million in 2 weeks, so it's not horrible. Number 8, Free Guy. Number 7 in its first week, Hansla Rock. Don't ask me. I don't know. I didn't do it. Number 6, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, still going strong, 7 weeks in, over $217 million. Number 5 in its first week, The Last Duel. That's the new Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Adam Driver, a handful of others. One of the bigger name, star movie. But it only opened up to $4.7 million. Now, that's the kind of movie where like it's either it either gets high praise and goes on to win an Oscar or something like that, but doesn't make a massive amount of money, or it's just a big name flop. So I guess I don't know, but it looks interesting enough to check out one of these days, but not very impressive. But it is in the middle of October, so horror movies are kind of going to rule the day for the next couple weeks. Number 4, speaking of which, The Addams Family 2 in its third week made over $7 million for $42.1 million, which is pretty good for a quirky type of animated film.
Mm.
Number 3, Venom: Let There Be Carnage, made 16.5 for a total of $168 million in 3 weeks. Number 2, No Time to Die, the latest James Bond 007 flick. And number 1, Halloween Kills, opened up at $49.4 million. So you combine that with, what we were talking about earlier with the 1.2 million watched it on Peacock and everything. So already it's been a massive success, and I'm sure it'll pull in comparable numbers at least for the next week or two, right? You would imagine.
Yep.
That's the box office report. New releases this week. We've got, let's see, Night Teeth.
As opposed to Day Teeth.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
That is stupid.
Yeah.
But anyways, that came out on Netflix today, October 20th. This Friday, the 22nd, we've got Broadcast Signal Intrusion and Malignant. Those come out on video on demand. Now, Malignant's already been out for a little while, but that was in theaters and on HBO Max up until this point. So I think it's already been pulled off HBO Max because they have like that month window. So I guess now it goes to video on demand, and I'm sure it's still playing in theaters. So that one needs to be seen to be believed. There's no, you just have to witness it for yourself. That's all I'll say. We're getting to it sooner or later. Trust me, we'll get there. And then lastly, next Tuesday, the 26th, Don't Breathe 2, Skull, The Mask, and The Last Matinee all come out on DVD and Blu-ray. So those are the big DVD releases next week. So not as many movies as we had last week on the new release calendar, but still, and a couple of those movies are movies that have been out a little while that probably anyone watching this has probably already seen. So
yeah, Skull, The Mask. I had watched. I think I probably got maybe a half an hour into it, but I didn't finish it. I liked it. It was subtitled, but it was God damn, that thing was violent.
Yeah, it's a bloody affair. I'm not sure if it still is, but I watched it earlier this year on Shudder. And
yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Smoke, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Haven't checked it out yet.
No,
but it definitely looks interesting. It's definitely on the list.
Yeah,
my list is like this. Yes, I gotta go this far back. Yeah, the list is like that, but it's on there.
You got a big list. Trust me, my list is like a billion miles long. But yeah, that one's pretty good. So horror anniversary dates. We got any, Donnie?
Yeah, we do. Anton Differing. So he was born October 20th, 1916. So that he was born basically today. This being a live show. But he has 143 acting credits on IMDb. But he's most known for the movie The Man Who Could Cheat Death from 1959. But yeah, I'm awful at math. I have no idea how old he was when he passed.
He was getting up there. That's all we'll say.
Yeah. So that's one we've got, and then most everyone will recognize this next fella. Actor Bela Lugosi was born also on October 20th, 1882. He has 114 acting credits, but he's best known as Dracula. To virtually every living soul.
Yeah.
And dead soul, I guess.
Yep.
But
yeah,
so
he's still haunting folks.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Well, maybe you've heard of this next guy. Actor Vincent Price. So
that's a good
another indie actor.
Right. But yeah, Vincent Price, legend, just like Lugosi. but 210 acting credits. Probably most known for House on Haunted Hill from 1959 and Thriller from 83. So
I can do the math on that one. He would be 110 years old if he was still alive today.
He's probably, kicking around with Tupac and Elvis.
Yeah, and Bela Lugosi.
Yeah. So that's our memorial. So
that'll pretty much unless you
Hmm?
wanted to. I said that'll pretty much wrap it up. Unless you want to do like a little quick Q&A session, if anybody that's watching has any questions or anything like that.
Yeah, you can chime in on the chat. We had that question from Pennsylvania Larry.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to throw anything, now's the chance. But while if anyone's thinking of any questions or whatever, I'll go ahead and toss the usual information. I guess you can throw up the socials and stuff like that. Of course, every Monday at 6 p.m. East, new episode of the podcast comes out, All-American Spookshow Horror Podcast, where usually Willie, you see him there on the right-hand side on the little forehead there. That's that guy. He's usually there. So if you want to hear his voice, usually every Monday at 6 p.m. East, but not always, even there. So, but yeah, like we say, every Tuesday on Patreon, new episode of the Library of the Professor, our Spook Show video minisode series over on Patreon. You can only see it there. And of course, Deadline Horror News here on the YouTube channel. We're going live through at least through October, and we may make the decision to keep doing this live every Wednesday night, but we'll see. But I think it's been going pretty good. So as you see there, patreon.com/AA-Spookshow, at AA-Spookshow on Twitter, same deal on Facebook, All-American Spookshow on Instagram, a Slasher. We're everywhere, man. There's no excuse you can't hunt us down if you want to ask us anything or just join in the fun that we have every week on the podcast and on Patreon and on YouTube. We're all over the place. So did anybody have any questions or anything? Or
yeah, we let's see. Got one. Where's Will?
He's on assignment.
Yeah. As in sleeping. he can't stay up past 9 o'clock. That to answer your question. That's why he's never.
Yeah. Sometimes on assignment means
it could literally mean anything. Like
it really could.
Yeah, like he might be standing on the other side of Donnie's staircase over there. He just didn't want to be on the show. So you never know where he may appear. It's like, where's Waldo? It's where's Will?
Yeah. And we got well, I guess you could call this a question. Is it time to stump the professor?
No.
No. That's funny.
Just know, Smoke, that we didn't do it to you.
Yeah.
It was a member of your family. I've got nothing to stump.
Somebody's a comedian.
Yeah. I man, I don't know.
Name any movie from the last 5 years. Go.
The Vivitch. I mean the witch.
The Vitch.
The Vivitch.
Oh, that's funny.
Halloween Kills. Boom.
Halloween Kills. Lamb.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I guess that's we'll go ahead and put a pin in it for there. So yeah, like I guess we can kind of make that a segment every week. We can, if anybody has any questions they want to queue up,
That's cool.
and we can answer them, week to week. So, so I guess for Will, of course, and for Donnie and Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All-American Spookshow Horror Podcast. Come back and join us here next Wednesday. Patreon.com/AA-Spookshow for our content over there, getting the episodes early and everything. And of course, every Monday at 6 p.m. East, the new episodes, wherever you get your podcast. So we will talk to you next week.
See you guys.
Later.